Guys, it is now time for us to talk about, I think, probably one of the biggest, and I would think one of the greatest attractions of all time in professional wrestling, Andre the Giant. Jack, when's the first time you saw Andre the Giant?
Columbus, Georgia. That probably would have been around 79, 80, somewhere in there.
Rodney, first time you saw Andre the
I
Giant?
believe we saw him first time in Chattanooga for Nick Goulas, and I believe it would have been in 76 or so, I would think.
You know, he only started coming to the United States in 1974, I believe. I can remember 1976, the first time we saw him, Chattanooga, Tennessee, against the Islanders. I believe there was a manager as well, and I believe it might have been Ken Hawk.
You think you're right.
I believe it was Ken Hawk with the Islanders against Andre the Giant. He wrestled against all three of those guys, beat them all up, threw them all over the top rope.
They had a big, huge poster of Andre as you came into the lobby. As you went in, you gave your tickets. You came in, and right as you came in was this big, huge poster on the wall of Andre the Giant.
Just Andre was such an attraction that if you was drawing, and this is no lie about Andre the Giant, if you were drawing 3,000 people in a building, bring Andre, you're going to draw 6,000 people. He was always going to double your crowd if Andre the Giant was on the card. Now that goes true if they were drawing 4, he would draw 8. And Montgomery, Alabama was one of those things in 1983 when he was there. Montgomery wasn't drawing, but he did make it draw better than it was. But if you take Dothan, Alabama, and if you were drawing, now Dothan was an exception to that. You could be drawing 1,000 people, but Andre the Giant on the card, there's going to be 5,000 or 6,000 people packed in that Houston County Farm Center. Andre had that appeal, and any time they put him on the card. Jack, if you was to look at Andre the Giant, what is Andre the Giant? Do you believe he's going to be remembered for his match with Hulk Hogan, or will he be remembered for the territory days?
I think the majority of people are probably only going to associate him with that Hogan match, which is a shame because that was only a small part of what Andre was. I mean, really, that was the real end of his career. He stayed in the business for a few years after that, but that was the last big thing that he ever did. But if you go back and YouTube, thank goodness, and WWE Network, regardless of what you think about WWE, they have tons of Andre stuff on there. And if you don't know who Andre is, if you've never really watched his stuff from back in the day, go look at it. He was phenomenal. He was doing things that a guy 200 pounds couldn't do. And here he was, as big as he was, and as tall as he was, doing flying head scissors and drop kicks and all kinds of things. Until his body started breaking down, he was phenomenal, just phenomenal.
Rodney, what's he going to be remembered for? Is he going to be remembered as a territorial wrestler?
No, he's going to be remembered for Andre and Hulk because of the huge crowd. I mean, we saw that big, huge crowd at the Silver Dome in Pontiac. And so, yeah, that's what he'll be remembered for, even though his best work comes before that.
Yep.
I think it's because millions of people watch this. I would probably say this match, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, was probably watched by more people than all big wrestling companies today, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, all wrestling combined who watches wrestling today.
Yeah.
Watch this particular match and watch the build up to this match on the main event. I believe Double Dave, probably more people watch that than watches wrestling in one night than the watches in about a year now. So,
well, and we talked about it before. People talk about the greatest wrestling match that was on that card was Steamboat and Savage. That's without a doubt probably the greatest wrestling match ever. It didn't draw. That's not what people paid to see. The match between Hogan and Andre was what everybody in that building and everybody watching on pay-per-view, that was the match they paid to see. And they delivered. They didn't do all the stuff that the rest of the card did. They didn't have to. They told a great story.
Andre the Giant was always the cleanup man, basically back in the territory days. They always would bring, everybody else would try to take out the bad guy. And finally, Andre the Giant would be brought in to team with someone. And it always, Andre always beat the guys up. And they always left Andre. But, people were talking about Andre not being able to perform and Jack saying he was able to do all the drop kicks. He was able to do all that stuff. Got to remember, when Vince McMahon Sr. took over his bookings, he told him, you got to do the big man match. And he told him to quit. Don't do any of that stuff anymore. Don't do any drop kicks. Don't do any of that stuff. Only do the big man match. And Andre was just a tremendous attraction, and we got to see him in Georgia many times. We got to see him in Georgia. We got to see him in Southeastern. We got to see him in. So by the time Continental come along, he was only wrestling for Vince McMahon, but some good stuff. And we got to remember Andre the Giant, one of the first people that was ever used on television. $6 million man. He was the Bigfoot on there. Also, he would be on BJ and the Bear. Y'all remember seeing him on BJ and the Bear a lot? He was.
There were shows that he was on that I never watched, except for the episodes that I heard he was going to be on.
That's just good stuff. And also, we can't forget The Princess's Bride. Yeah. One of his best movies, I think he ever did. He was awesome. Tremendous. It was tremendous in this movie. Andre the Giant, also a very nice man. I guess if he didn't like you, he wasn't very nice. And there was people he didn't like, but he was always nice to us. I will never forget picking him up in the old Firebird at the Atlanta airport. I didn't think he could get in that car, and he actually did. He actually got into that car. He was scrunched in that.
Was that pre what was that Lincoln Town car that your dad always drove? Yeah. That's where I like riding with you and your dad, because there was room.
Well, at the time he didn't have that big car. He had the old Firebird. He picked him up. I think that was 1979, I believe.
That was the whole. Tommy Rich had the Trans Am, and then who was it? Oh, the Smoking the Bandit, wasn't it?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds had the car, yeah.
And so the Firebird, and I can't believe it. What had happened was, really most of the time the ring truck went and picked them up, but the ring truck broke down the night before, so they had no other way to go pick them up but pick them up, because back then they didn't send limousines after you in these territories. That didn't happen. Somebody was going to come pick you up because they weren't going to pay for a limousine. So, but Andre the Giant, he will be missed. But I have been told that there's a book on Andre the Giant, that it's a tremendous book. And I'm going to purchase that book, and we're going to talk about that book. And after I get to read it, then I can put
it back here with my other books.
Yes, we'll put it back with the other books. But I've heard that it's a very, very good book. So we are going to have to talk about that, and we'll talk more about Andre the Giant. Me and Rodney did a video on Andre the Giant. We kind of killed every name that was on that video.
It was brilliantly done. If we did it brilliantly. It was we tortured those names. We just massacred the names real good.
If you've not seen the video, it is on our YouTube channel. You can go over there and watch it. But we don't speak French. We really messed those names.
We butchered them names real good.
But you can go over there and see that video. If you're enjoying us and you like this video, give us the big thumbs up and subscribe to the page and go one step further and hit that notification bell.